and I'll actually be heading there tomorrow for the first time this year, so that's pretty exciting.
Cool.
Hello. I am from Texas, right? And out of the three main Texas parks, the Over Texas, Fiesta Texas, and San Antonio, can you just rank them real quick?
Sure. So Fiesta Texas is the best one. It's got the best lineup, best quality of rides. And then I would say over Texas, I go there a lot. I get kind of bored there because their lineup's a little weaker, but they do have a lot of stuff. Then I would say SeaWorld's third. Definitely the weakest of the three, even though it's still a good time, especially with Texas Stingray now.
Mm-hmm.
A pretty decent lineup to keep you entertained, but usually after about half a day, you're ready to move on.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Being a beanie. We already.
Sorry, I forgot to click accept. I was just curious that if you had to make a park only using existing rides from around the world, what would you pick?
Okay. So that's kind of a big question. So I mean, I'm guessing you'd probably want a good variety. So if you want to pick the best RMC, you got to get like Steel Vengeance. You want to pick the best hyper coaster, you'd probably go with Expedition G-Force. You want a good wooden coaster, maybe El Toro. You want to build a park with like 20 coasters of all different kinds. That's kind of where you go with that. Maybe like Flying Dinosaur, Yukon Striker. Thinking like good variety. Lots of good flat rides too. Lots of pendulums, dark rides. And put it here in Tulsa because we don't have anything here. It sucks.
Hello? Oh, sorry. Can you hear me?
I hear you. You're on.
Okay. What is your favorite like area that's outside of the theme park? Like you know, Dollywood has Pigeon Forge. What would you say is your favorite one?
So when you go to a park and then you leave the park and then you get, I would probably say the whole Orlando area because once you leave, there's always something to do around there, even if it's not amusement park related. It always seems like so it's always you go down the street, all of a sudden, oh, here's a Star Flyer, here's another attraction. Also Wisconsin Dells is kind of like that too. Once you leave Mount Olympus, just tons of stuff around there.
Oh, he left. So I just go to the next person.
So Chris, my main man.
What's up?
Which park, if you want to be a ride op, which park and which ride, it doesn't have to be a coaster, it could be a flat ride, would you want to work at?
I definitely would not want to work a flat ride because that just seems so boring to load people and then watch it go. I want to have a ride where you can just whip people out as fast as possible. So I'd probably pick like Fury 325 would be a great one with great capacity, 3 trains. Just keep that thing rolling. Maybe try to set some kind of record for most people in an hour.
Hello. All right. If so, like you said earlier, like there's a lot of stuff to do in like the Orlando area after a park. What's like your favorite thing to do in Orlando besides the parks?
Um, whew, that's a good question. When I went to Orlando, gosh, in 2012 on my honeymoon. No, that was like 10 years ago. Gosh. I honestly don't even. I can't. I'm drawing a blank now. What we did then, but we did more than just parks. Um, yeah, I'm gonna have to pass on that one. Sorry.
All right.
How's it going, Chris?
Uh,
So, so my home park is also Magic Mountain, like you. I live right in Fillmore. Alright, so one coaster that we both kind of disagree on opinion-wise is Goliath. So I kind of enjoy it, kind of as a guilty pleasure. Well, you're obviously not a fan of it. So, out of curiosity, if you can make any modifications to it that you think would improve the ride, let's say you had like a budget, like $5 million or something, what kind of changes would you make to it?
The easiest thing to do would be to steepen the drop a little bit. If you got even a little bit of airtime over that drop, it seems like it'd be so much better.
That makes
Now,
sense.
if you're gonna add any other elements to it, I would just throw a couple more airtime hills in there. It would be nice if it didn't stop on the mid-course brake run. If they could
Right.
modify it somehow so it wasn't such a dead stop, and then you can still not have people pass out on the helix, that'd be nice too. I mean,
Right.
the easiest thing to do would just be steepen the drop.
Yeah, I can see that happening.
Be nice.
All right, thanks.
Hey,
Okay, hi. So do you like water parks? And if you do, which one is your favorite?
I don't like water parks. I don't even like water rides, honestly. Um, I used to go to Hurricane Harbor once in a while, but I last time I was there was I think it was 2011. I have not been to a water park in 10 years. So yeah, water parks not my thing.
All right, the next person is Blues Coaster. He's declining the invite, so I just go to the next person.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
All right. So if you could RMC one wooden coaster in the US, what would it be?
That is a really good question. There's a few that come to mind right off the bat. One is Roar at Six Flags America. One is The Boss at Six Flags St. Louis. I think Six Flags America needs it more, but I think The Boss would be a better RMC because it's so huge. So go with The Boss.
All right. Me.
Hello.
What's up?
First of all, congrats on 50K, Chris.
Yes, I appreciate that.
Out of all the coasters you've ridden, which credit would you say is the rarest?
Ooh. I think the one that's been gone the longest that I've ridden is Windjammer. So I think that's the one that I've ridden that most people haven't. I mean, in terms of ones that are still around, maybe Zip and Pippin, possibly, or some of the ones in like Washington State, like the Washington State Fair. I rode all those, and that's only open like 1 month a year. In terms of my whole credit list, I would say it's probably Windjammer.
Hello, can you hear me?
I hear you.
All right. So my question is, do you prefer B&M vest restraints or old school B&M over-the-shoulder restraints?
I don't ever get head banging on B&Ms, so I would go with the traditional over-the-shoulder restraints because they're a little more free. I get the B&M rattle, which will kind of shake your head around, but in terms of actually like slamming your head against the restraint, that doesn't happen. So I'd go with the old school ones, especially on dive coasters.
Okay, so up next is Coaster Puppy, and for those who may have been skipped, don't worry, we will get to you later. So, calling Coaster Puppy.
Hi Chris. Big fan of your channel.
Thank you.
Congrats on 50K.
Thank you again.
Coaster is, my question is, Gerstlauer is going to build a record-breaking coaster in 2022 in a U.S. park. They haven't said which park it's gonna be, but which park do you hope it's gonna be?
I was thinking about this yesterday. Obvious pick is Cedar Point, just because it makes so much sense. If they're going to do something big for their quote unquote 150th anniversary, even though it's a couple years late, would be the perfect thing for them to get is some kind of huge inversion smashing coaster with a vertical drop. So this seems so logical to be Cedar Point, but another park could jump in and surprise us, especially something like maybe an independent park could do that. I'm not sure exactly which one it would be. Maybe Hershey Park, but probably not. So it just seems that Cedar Point would be the most logical one.
Hey, Chris, question for you. So you put out an insane amount of content week over week. How long does it take you to do a typical video?
So from research to writing to voiceover to editing to completion, it could be done anywhere like minimum 2 days, and then it usually doesn't go more than 4 days. So it's a pretty efficient process. It kind of makes me not as creative with my videos as like say like OK Coasters. But yeah, 2 to 4 days is a pretty safe range.
Okay, thank you, Coasters or Us. Now up next on our list, we got Craft.
Alrighty, congrats on 50K, Chris. Really
Thank
happy for you. So my question is, what is your guilty pleasure coaster?
Guilty pleasure coaster. Let's see. One like coaster that I love way too much. Sierra Sidewinder at Knott's comes to mind for sure. And I guess because everyone seems to hate it, Valraven. I always love my rides on Valraven, even though everyone trashes it. So I think that's a pretty good pick.
How I feel about my dive coasters too.
Yeah. Well, yeah. The other ones seem to get respect, but Valraven gets just trashed on. It's my favorite one I've ridden.
Yeah, thank you for having me on.
Thank you, Craft. So up next on our Q&A list, we got Crow. Calling for Crow.
All right. 2 things, Chris. What's your favorite old school amusement park?
Old school. So like you're talking about kind of like a rustic.
Yeah, something like Canopy or Knoebels or something like that.
Knoebels is good. One that's kind of like under the radar that's kind of janky but cool is Wonderland in Amarillo. I really enjoy that park, and I need to get back there soon because I'm not that far from it anymore. So I don't know how old it is, but it has that old style feel.
And the second thing, you take that back about Boss.
You're a big Boss fan?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm offended.
I rode it twice, and the second time was worse than the first time. So I think I got a pretty good feel of it.
Like honestly, like the roughness of a Woody makes it more intense, though. Like,
I guess, but otherwise, I didn't get any forces out of it either. It was just fast and kind of bumpy, and I didn't really like it that much. But I should have said, now that Predator's not getting the Titan track, that would be another perfect candidate for the RMC treatment. That park really needs that.
yeah.
I'll
Thanks for
spare
having.
the boss. Sure, I'll spare the boss in favor of Predator.
All right, next up we have Declan C.
Wait. Okay.
Hello.
Declan.
Okay, so if you could un-RMC a ride, like a ride that has been RMC'd, like take it away and go back to its like original form, what ride would you do that to?
Yeah, I probably wouldn't do that to anyone, but if I did have to pick one, it would be Colossus at Magic Mountain. Even though I love Twisted Colossus and it's a godsend to the park, Colossus was one of my favorite coasters as a kid. And I still think it was a pretty solid ride, even though Twisted Colossus just blows out of the water. But if I did have to pick one, it would be that one.
I respect it. Thank you.
We apologize for skipping you in the first place. We'll get you here shortly.
Oh, we declined the speak request.
You're calling for Cube, so okay. So we'll get to you later. For those who are just tuning in, this is Airtime Thrills' Q&A, and next up on our list is Therapy. Yeah, we already got them. Therapy Plains Spotter Coaster Guy. Take it away.
Oh my god, this is so cool. Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah. My home park isn't the best as Michigan's Adventure, but Disturbing Timbers is amazing.
See that in your
Wolfing
profile.
Wildcat is total garbage. It needs to be RMC'd immediately.
I still need to get there. I'm hoping to get there this year, but I don't know. We'll see.
It is horrible. I think I may have gotten a wheel seat last time I rode it, so I got completely jackhammered.
That's what I hear. It didn't. So what do you expect?
Yeah. I really need to get to Cedar Point this summer, but I've got both my shots, so I'm good to go. Anyway, when do you think the T-Rex is gonna happen?
I keep thinking it's going to happen sooner than later. Then RMC keeps putting it on the back burner, and they say we're not going to develop it until someone wants it. It doesn't seem like anyone's really in the market for it yet. But now that Magic Mountain's getting a Raptor, I can see the two parks, at least the chain parks, that could get one is either Cedar Point or Six Flags Great America. Those would be like the most.
Yeah, I've been to Great America. I just haven't been to Cedar Point yet.
Yeah. So I can see those two, but before I was thinking, it could come as soon as 2022 or 2023. Now I'm thinking maybe it'd be longer than that.
So Yukon Striker kind of disappointed me. I didn't get any airtime on the first drop. Other than that, it was good.
Yeah, I need to ride that. I imagine with the vest restraints, it's kind of hard to get airtime on it. But
honestly, I think Griffin is better than Yukon Striker.
Yeah,
Probably an
I can see that,
unpopular
yeah.
opinion there, but it.
I can see that, but I can't judge it till I ride it.
Even more unpopular, I think Griffin is better than Apollo's Chariot. That may be partially because I went there in the spring and the trains were pretty much empty, so that may have had something to do with it.
Yeah, I had a week ride on Apollo during the spring too.
Okay, fair enough.
Thanks, Jerky.
Thank you, but we're also giving time for other people to speak. So next up on our list is Doom. We are currently inviting you to speak right now. Take it away.
Hi everyone. So my question is, what do you think is the longest you spent at the park without leaving?
I'm sure it was Cedar Point. Usually I get there before it opens, and then I'll stay till kick me out. So usually that's 9 a.m. to midnight. I don't think I've ever stayed longer than that.
Sick. So thank you.
Okay, thank you, Doom. So next up on our list is EV70. Now we're currently inviting him to speak. Take it away.
Hi, it's like 2 a.m. for me, but since my home park's like Fuji Q, what do you think their next coaster is going to be in 2022?
That is a great question. They say it's going to cost what, $33 million or something like that. Is that
Yeah.
what was it? Is it 33?
Yeah.
It could mean tons of theming, or it could mean a just like gigantic ride. So Fuji Q always goes big. Could we be seeing some kind of Giga coaster?
I
one
was thinking
guess.
of like a giant Gerstlauer because they don't have much space.
They do. I mean, they already have Takabisha.
Oh,
I don't know.
true. Forgot
Maybe
that
maybe maybe an extreme spinner too. I mean, think about just big expensive coasters. They don't really seem to theme their stuff all that much. But yeah, I mean, if I had to put money on it, I would say they might be getting a Giga.
All right.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, EV7D. Now, next up on our list is Freestyle 12V. We're currently inviting him to speak now. Take it away.
Hi, Chris. So my question is, you could either go realistic or out of the box, but what do you think the next park Cedar Fair will buy?
Well, my predictions for last year, I did say that Cedar Point was going to buy some park, some coaster park, which didn't happen. Of course, with COVID, it just blew up everything. In terms of what park they could buy, like the one that just pops into my head is Mount Olympus, because it's independent. It's a big enough scale to make sense for Cedar Fair. I mean, I don't know if they'd be interested in a park like that in an area like that. This doesn't seem like there's a whole lot of like bigger independent parks that could get bought off or sold off to a chain at this point. So you had any ideas?
Thank you, Freestyle 12V. Now let's move on to letter G with Gab. Calling for Gab. And take the lead.
Okay, hello. So my question would be, if you could have any like roller coaster from, let's say, the UK, what would it be and why?
The UK, I haven't really been super impressed with the UK's lineup in terms of none of the coasters really super stand out to me. I would say Nemesis looks the most interesting, but people say Smiler is probably the best ride.
I think Smiler.
But probably if I had to ride one right now, it would be Nemesis. If I had to bring one to the US to ride like over and over again, it'd probably be Smiler.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Gab. So next up on our list is Gusto. Did I pronounce that right? Calling for Gusto.
I got no questions, but thanks. You turned me into a coaster enthusiast. Bye.
Oh, cool. He left.
Okay, that was actually okay. Thank you, Gusto. So let's move on to the next. Let's move on to the next people now with I'm Cyclone. Take it away.
So you can hear me, right?
Yep.
All right. So me and a couple of my friends are like planning a road trip for this summer. The Northeast. We're going to be hitting like Hershey Park, Kings Dominion, all those parks. So from someone who's been there, would you consider Nickelodeon Universe a waste of money?
Oh, from the day I went there, it would have been, yeah, for sure, because there's only 2 coasters open. I mean, you're spending $70 and you're riding really maybe one really good coaster, one pretty good coaster, and other, coasters. I always suggest that you go somewhere for the first time to get the experience, but I would definitely say it's not worth what they're charging, especially if you're a coaster enthusiast. Maybe if you were more of a, a kid and you like the Nickelodeon stuff, maybe, but also like that your name is I'm Cyclone and you have El Torro as your picture. The worst wooden coaster and the best one right there.
Okay, thank you. I'm Cyclone with the El Toro profile picture. Now let's move on to the next speaker with Infinite Gaming 999. Take it away.
So I was wondering, would you, so you know how there are a bunch of parks in Florida, and then there are also the parks in Ohio and Pennsylvania? Would you prefer to take a trip and hit all the parks in Florida, or hit all the parks in Ohio and Pennsylvania?
My personal preference, my two favorite parks are in Ohio, so I would choose that one. But that being said, there's a lot more variety in Pennsylvania and Florida. So I guess I would pick Ohio just for the quality, but for the variety and the also, I mean, also good quality, I'd say probably pick Florida.
Okay, thank you.
All kinds of great stuff there. Sure.
Okay, thank you, Infinite Gaming. So now let's move on to the next people with Judge Roy Scream. Judge Roy Scream, where are you?
Hello.
Judge.
If you had to pick one park to bring back from the dead besides Jiaga Lake, what park would that be and why?
Ooh, besides Juggle Lake. Oh man, let's see. I would probably go with Astroworld because you go to Texas, you know, you have the Dallas, San Antonio, kind of go back and forth, and it would just be amazing to have that third big park right there to complete the whole triangle. And I've always said it'd be so nice to have Astroworld there to do, and I never got to go, so it kind of sucks.
Yeah, I was hoping you would pick Six Flags New Orleans, but oh well.
Thinking about that too, yeah. Yeah, I don't think either of those parks were great, but just in terms of the
Yeah.
quantity and the location of Astroworld, that would have been the best one for me.
All right, well, that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Judge Roy Scream. Next up on our list is Just Caps. Calling for Just Caps.
All right. So my home park area is like the Wisconsin Dells, technically. So one, I super disagree with the whole like Cedar Fair buying what is it, Mount Olympus? But also, my question for you is like, considering that this is like kind of like your job and you know like your main hobby, how much do you think you would spend like per year on like going to amusement parks and stuff like that?
It really depends on the year. Some years I go crazy. Like 2020, I was going to go all out, and then obviously my trips got canceled, and I had to slap some together. In 2018, when I went on the cross country trip, and then I went to Texas a couple times, and I went to Florida, I probably ended up spending maybe $5,000 that year on trips. That's probably kind of the max, but in general, it would be a lot less than that, maybe like 2,500.
Very cool.
Very cool indeed. So thank you, Just Caps. Right up next on our list, we have Crystalic. Calling for Crystalic. Okay, Crystalic declined, so let's move on. Karnan Fanboy. This word is Karnan. Take it away.
Hi guys. So is there a specific really obscure coaster on your bucket list that you really want to ride outside of the US?
Let's see. And it has to be obscure, huh? Gosh, that is a good question. I would say maybe the Tower of Terror, the one in South Africa, the one that pulls like 6.5 Gs down that vertical drop. It's actually built into a mine shaft. That one's always intrigued me, and I never really thought about it much because I know I'm probably never going to get there. But if I choose one, that'd probably be it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Karnan Fanboy. Now let's move on. Let's have Lisa Bree 15. Calling on Lisa Bree 15. Take it away.
Hey Chris, congrats on 50K.
Appreciate it.
I was wondering, does Sophie have a list of coasters that she wants to ride when she's tall enough, if she's not tall enough yet?
So Sophie, she doesn't know about too many coasters that she hasn't ridden yet. But there are quite a few that we've seen that either her mom won't allow her to ride, or she's afraid to ride. So I wouldn't say she's super brave in the sense where she wants to ride every single thing. She's usually apprehensive, but I appreciate that she does try things out. So Twisted Colossus has always been on that list in terms of like, when's it going to be time? When's it going to be time? I think when it's finally time to ride Twisted Colossus, she's going to be really happy. Hopefully tomorrow we get her on Time Traveler. So we'll see if that happens.
Vlog it.
So thank you, Lisa Bree. Let's move on. Actually, shout out to our two boosters, Coaster Rampage and Concitius. We're actually gonna, since you guys are the boosters to this server, we're gonna let you guys go next first. Let's start with Coaster Ramp. Wait, did I get the name right? Yeah.
Okay, so I've been blessed to have Michigan's Adventure as my home park, so I go there all the time. I would love to hear your opinion of what coaster you think they could get if they ever do get one.
So if they ever do get one, I think my official prediction was that they would give the RMC treatment to Wolverine Wildcat, just because that seems like the cheapest option and it would bring the most to the park, considering they have two other wooden coasters. But I don't know if Cedar Fair is super eager to work with RMC anymore. I think they're much more likely to get some kind of Eurofighter thing. That would make a lot of sense for them.
Yeah, even if they just got a clone of Hydrus, I'd be happy. That'd be a pretty.
Yeah, I could totally see that there, and Cedar Fair works with Gerstlauer. It would make a lot of sense.
Yeah, and then like my dream edition would be like something like Ride to Happiness in Belgium. I would be the happiest man on earth if something like that came here. It'd be so cool.
Yeah, that's really unrealistic. I'm sorry.
I know it's unrealistic, but I can dream. Okay, I can dream.
Okay, keep dreaming.
Can dream indeed. Let's move on to the next speaker with Concithius, and also thank you, Coaster Rampage. Take it away.
All right, so I have two questions. So my first question is Mystic Timbers really the out wild ejector machine that you say in some videos, or is it the mild floater machine that you said in other videos?
I don't remember calling it a wild ejector machine. It does have that out of control feeling, that low to the ground kind of twisting airtime hills. It's the only GCI that I've ridden that actually really truly like throws you out of your seat. So I guess compared to other GCIs, it's like kind of ejector, but I would say it's good, solid, sustained floater airtime.
All right, and my second question is, what do you think is the most overhated coaster in America?
Oh, definitely Raven. I think the only reason people hate it so much is because it's at Cedar Point. They have a different standard. If that thing was at Worlds of Fun or those other parks, it would probably be seen as like, oh yeah, it's a good coaster, but it just gets like seething hate from people, especially people who live around Cedar Point.
All right, thanks.
You can say yes. So now let's move on back to the rest of the others. Let's go back to all of you guys. And let's move to Mark the Shark 22, calling on him.
All right. Let's make this quick. First of all, the Mount Olympus thing, that would be a dream come true because that is my home park.
Oh, the Cedar Fair?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, now I'm gonna go straight to my question. What is your favorite park that you have ridden with a family member?
Favorite park I've been to or coaster I've ridden?
Coaster you've been on. Sorry.
Okay. I would say probably the first time I rode Revolution with Sophie. That was her first looping coaster. And there was so much build up to that she was finally 48 inches and we decided to do it. I made a whole vlog on it. It's one of my favorite videos on my channel. That was probably the best experience I've had with a family member coaster.
All right. Sweet. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark the Shark. Okay, so now we got our next speaker up here, Morlando. Let's get him on the stage. Okay, calling for Morlando.
How's it going?
Morlando.
What is the most consistent park that you've been to? One that you've been able to go to time and time again, and it's always been at the top.
By far, the answer to that question is Kings Island. That's actually the reason why it's my favorite. It's because I've been to other parks where it was like hit and miss, hit and miss. Um, like Cedar Point, even it's better. It's good more than often than it's bad. But I've had a couple trips there that were just really not good. But Kings Island, I've been there 4 or 5 times, and every time it's like, wow, they keep stepping it up. I can rely on them to have things open and pushing things through.
All right, thank you.
Sure.
Thank you, Marlando. Now, once again, let's go to our next speaker, Mr. Unpopular Opinions. Let's see what unpopular opinion he has in mind. And he declined. Yep.
That's unpopular.
Yeah. Okay, up next on our list is Mr. Fool.
Hello. So I just want to say first that my home park's Knott's Berry Farm. So when you moved away from, and I was like an hour away from Magic Mountain. So when you moved away, I was really sad because we shared a similar park. But I took a trip to Orlando 2 weeks ago, and I was just wondering, in Florida, like what would you rank all the parks, including the fun spot parks?
Okay, so that's it's so tricky for me to rank the Disney Universal parks because I love those parks a lot, but it's just so hard to compare them to like a thrill park. I would say my favorite park in if you're counting Tampa, Fish Gardens Tampa, that'd be my favorite. I'd say my second favorite is probably Islands of Adventure, and then third SeaWorld, then Universal Orlando after that. And then I haven't been to 2 of the Disney parks. I have been to Magic Kingdom and Epcot.
That's cool.
But I would actually put Fun Spot Kissimmee ahead of the Magic Kingdom and Epcot.
Oh wow,
'Cause I
really?
don't know. Magic Kingdom was kind of disappointing. It was just like oh, this is basically Disneyland, but they don't have Indiana Jones. At least when I went, that's how it was. I think they've added more stuff since then, but
Yeah.
yeah, that's kind of how I go with it.
Well, thank you, and I really enjoy your videos. So it's
Yeah,
nice to meet
appreciate
you.
that.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Fool. And actually, I was told by my fellow mods that we have a few people who want to speak first because they may need to go soon. So let's invite them in. Let's start with Corsair.
Hey Chris, congrats on 50K. My question is, if you were in charge of Magic Mountain and you could remove any coaster and replace it with a new coaster, what would it be?
That's easy. Goliath. Get that thing out of there. Put a B&M Hyper in there. Giga would be nice, but I'd take a Raging Bull any day of the week over Goliath.
Like the exact layout of Raging Bull, like a clone, or like would it be similar?
Well, I mean, just based on the plot, it would probably have to be kind of compact and more of a hyper twister. So like a coaster like Raging Bull would make sense for that plot. And if it was, if it rode like Raging Bull, I'd be perfectly happy with that.
Yeah, that'd be pretty good. Thanks.
Sure.
Okay, so another person that may need to go soon is Coop. So let's call on. Calling for Coop.
Hey, so congrats on 50K.
Thank you.
So we all know that the Dodgers beat the Atlanta Braves, and as you can tell, I'm a Braves fan, so I'm not happy.
Sorry
But-
about Atlanta in general.
Yeah. Well, I'm a Dolphins fan, so thanks for the trade
Oh,
with
okay.
Philadelphia. So anyway, I got clowned on because everyone that I know is Dodgers fans because I'm in Los Angeles. So if the Braves beat the Dodgers this year, what kind of deal would you be willing to make, if at all, a deal?
What do you mean a deal?
Maybe we have like another Q&A here.
So if the Braves do better than the Dodgers this year?
We can either do the Braves have a better record or the Braves beat the Dodgers in the postseason.
Okay, let's say if the Braves finish better than the Dodgers overall in the playoffs,
All right.
then I'll be willing to make a deal. We can do another
All right.
Q&A, and you can ask me any ridiculously personal or weird questions you guys want.
All right, good. Saving the Discord server, getting them another Q&A.
There you go.
All right. By the way, go Dolphins. Philly's not going to do well this year.
Yeah, that's rough.
All right. Bye. Congrats.
Bye. Thank you.
Okay, so I guess it says I forgot what team that was finishing better in playoffs will equal another QNA.
The Braves over
finished
Dodgers.
Oh, Braves over Dodgers. Okay. Sorry, I'm not really. Let's go to Mr. Steele, your mom. Oh, wait, Mr. Steele, your mom. Oh, okay. Calling on Mr. Steele, your mom. Okay.
Can you hear me?
Okay, take it away.
So I was wondering, what's your favorite CCI roller coaster, and what's your opinion on Six Flags St. Louis?
My favorite CCI coaster is Ghost Rider, and I definitely still think it's a CCI, even though GCI retracted. That's still a CCI layout, so I consider it a CCI. And Six Flags St. Louis is not bad. I think that Six Flags neglects it a lot in terms of, I mean, they haven't gotten a real new coaster in 13 years, which is crazy.
Yeah, they're
The lineup,
closing Superman this year also.
yeah, I did hear about that. The lineup they have is decent. I just say it's just full of clones and like small steel coasters. The wooden coasters do stand out as, you know, cream of the crop, but they need something. They need like a hyper or some kind of unique steel coaster, or a Raptor even would be nice there.
Mr. Freeze has been having a lot of problems recently too with
Yeah.
Valley, and the past two times
I
I've
saw
gone,
that.
I've seen it Valley.
Yeah, it's kind of troubling. Maybe it's just because it's early in the season, the weather's not great, but I don't know. Hopefully they don't take it out, or that might be their best ride in the park.
I'd say it's between Mr. Freeze and Boss. Or Shroom Eagle, maybe.
I'll probably go with American Thunder, but I need to ride it again. It's been a while.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Steal Your Mom. Let's move on now with our next participant, Nemesis 305. And if you're still tuned in, we'd like to thank you for joining us. If you're still tuning in, thank you. And Nemesis has declined. Let's move on to the next person, Roller Coaster Weekly. Calling on Roller Coaster Weekly. Take it away.
Hello. If you had to remove, look, if you had to build one roller coaster at a theme park outside of the USA with infinite budget and infinite space, where would you build it and what would it be?
Infinite, so any park, infinite budget, infinite space outside the US. I would love to see. I'd love to see some kind of 500-foot T-Rex somewhere. Now, where would that be? I probably want to pick it to put it somewhere where I can get to it. So maybe Canada's Wonderland. There you go.
Thank you.
Thank you, Roller Coaster Weekly. Now let's move on to our next. Let's move on now to our next participant, our next speaker, Sam Weewoo. Take it
Hello,
away.
Chris. So I have two questions. One, what is your favorite type of dark ride, like dark ride system? And then two, what is your favorite support structure, like with the coaster?
For dark rides, I don't really know too much about like who builds what or what's similar to what, but whatever Forbidden Journey uses, that is my favorite. Whatever that is, I don't know if that's on any other ride, but that blew my mind so hard that it's just amazing. I bet Rise of the Resistance is probably better, but I need to get there.
Really good.
Everything kind of shut down before I could get there, so but I'll get back. As for support structure, there's two ways to think about it. I always really like Millennium Force's like power line structure. I thought that was really unique and cool. But I also really like the minimalist structure, like you see on Fury or I-305, where it's just like this big arch and there's only two supports holding it up. I think that's even more intimidating than having something big like Steel Dragon. Like they'll freak people out thinking the thing's just going to tip over. So,
Thank you, Chris.
Sure.
Thank you, Sam. So now let's move on to our next speaker, Senor Cannibal. Calling on to Senor Cannibal.
All right, hello. I am shaking right now, but So my first question, after the construction for a new coaster at Vortex's plot is done, what if there was another coaster that you would replace with a newer coaster at Kings Island, what would it be?
Ooh, that's a good question. So what would I take out of Kings Island and replace it? Well, the good thing is
Yeah.
that you don't really need to take out anything at Kings Island because they have so much space.
Yeah.
You don't need to. So, oh man, like I would say the next one to go at Kings Island is probably in Vertigo, even though there's not much you can do with that spot unless you were just kind of maybe put like a small scale raptor on there. But I don't really see that as an option for Kings Island. I think
Okay.
the most amazing thing they could do is to get like a huge RMC hyper iBox and theme it after Son of Beast. That would be amazing. And they could actually put it where Son of Beast was because Banshee only uses like a tiny little bit of Son of Beast land to do that, all that back there. So that might even, I mean, they could even reuse the station for that because the station's still standing. Game's a lot of-
Also, what do you think would be the next attraction for Holiday World?
Holiday World. So actually, I have my independent video coming out, I think on Thursday. And Holiday World's on there in terms of like the perfect next coaster for them. I think that's something with a vertical drop would make a lot of sense there because they don't have anything like that. So either like a B&M dive, or if they wanted to go with Infinity Coaster, that'd make a lot of sense. But Holiday World also really needs a good family coaster. They don't have anything between Howler and Raven. They had some kind of spinning coaster, like a Gerstlauer spinner. That would make a lot of sense for that park too.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Senor Cannibal for joining us. And up next on our list is Starfighter 7888. Calling on to Starfighter 7888. Take it away.
Hello. Before I say my question, I just want to say congrats on 50K, and I love your videos.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
So if you could switch around two coasters from Kings Island to Cedar Point, like switch two coasters around from each park, what would it be?
I would. I'd honestly probably give Mystic Timbers to Cedar Point because they need a good wooden coaster, and Kings Island already has a bunch. And in the other direction, I'd probably give Valraven Kings Island just so it gets a little bit more love.
All right, thank you so much.
Alright, thank you, Starfighter. Let's move on to our next speaker. We have the Quacken. Calling on the Quacken. Take it
Hey,
away.
how's it going?
What's up?
Well, congratulations on 50K. I'm probably going to be. I have a bunch of questions, but I will be putting some on the community post to save some time. But will you be doing Hollywood Nights this year?
No, I have a conflict this year. 'Cause I'm not in California anymore. I have to go back and forth quite a bit, and I will not be around in town for Hollywood Nights this year.
Well, I understand for sure. And do you have any intentions of going to Worlds of Fun this year?
I do, yeah. Worlds of Fun's only about 4 hours from me. So I might make it part of my future road trip, which I plan on going up to the northern parks like Valleyfair and Michigan's Adventure, Great America. Don't know when that's going to be, if I can get the time off of work. But at some point, I'll get to Worlds of Fun soon.
Yeah, and I'm glad I found someone who's not the only one that thinks Mamba's a great ride. Bob from BK Photo Page actually thought it was a surprise. So
Okay,
it's not
I'm
as
missing
bad
that
as
credit.
Steel
So
Force, I promise.
okay, that's good because I'm missing that credit, and we were disappointed it was closed last time I was there. But for
Rip.
sure, I'm looking forward to it this time.
All right. Well, I appreciate you having me on, man.
Okay, thank you, the Quacken. Now, next up on our list for the Q&A, it is VR Nerd. Calling on VR Nerd. Take it away.
Hi, Chris. Was there any park that you had a horrible first impression of, however, after another visit you really enjoyed?
Horrible first impression. Six Flags America, horrible first impression. Second impression wasn't much better. It's a really good question. I'm trying to think now if there's any other parks that I went to that were just terrible and then I had a better time at. I don't think that one exists. I've had good and bad days. Like Fiesta Texas, I had a terrible day and then some great ones. But for one where I went there and it was terrible and came back and it was good.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Okay, so thank you. Next up on our list is X, a random bunch of numbers X. Take it away.
First off, I just want to say thank you for not hating Raging Bull. That is awesome. I'm so glad someone in the community loves it.
Yes, love Raging Bull.
Thank God. Okay, my main question is this. Between me and you, Velocicoaster and Iron Gwazi have the most hype in Florida. When they both open, which do you think will be better, and will they be the best coaster in the state of Florida?
Iron Gwazi will be better than Velocicoaster based on my preferences. If you're into theming and just the whole atmosphere of the ride, maybe you like Velocicoaster better. I'd be stunned if Velocicoaster was ranked higher than Iron Gwazi on my personal list. Velocicoaster kind of slower. I mean, it doesn't look like it's off the wall crazy ride. Not that it's supposed to be, but I don't know. I think Velocicoaster may be getting a little bit overhyped. We'll see. But I think Iron Gwazi will be awesome.
Fair enough, man. Thank you very much.
Sure. And to answer the last question about parks that I've been to that were bad and then were good. Well, the one that did come to mind actually was Kings Island. So the first time I went there was a Paramount park in 2002, and it was not very good. Next time I came there was 2016, 14 years later. Cedar Fair had already done a lot to the park, so it was better. So it wasn't like I had a bad day and a good day. It was just, from one owner to the next. So I thought I'd clear that up.
Okay, thank you. So actually we have someone who we're gonna go back to, Borg Assimilator, who is requesting to speak. So let's hope we can get Borg Assimilator back on board. Calling on Borg Assimilator, take it away.
So if Aerodynamics never went bankrupt, what do you think we would have seen from them?
It's really hard to say because you don't know what was in the works. Assuming they would have never gone bankrupt, that means that the 4D coaster probably would have been a success, which means that we probably would have seen more of those get plopped around different parks. And another thing is Tennessee Tornado was kind of a good insight into their new style of looper. I don't know if that necessarily would have caught on with B&M being so popular around that time with their flawless coasters and their sit downs and stand ups. Yeah, I could have seen more 4Ds, maybe a couple more of those smoother, bigger aero loopers coming out. But yeah, who knows what they would have come up with Alan Schilke working for them.
Yeah, all right, thanks.
Sure.
Thank you, Borg Assimilator. And next up on our list is Soul. Calling on for XXO. Take it away.
All right, first off, congrats on 50K.
Thank you.
All right, my first question is all around for the U.S. What do you like more, B&M stand-ups or floorless?
Oh, definitely floorless. I mean, I'm not too crazy about either one, but the best stand-up I've ridden is Riddler's Revenge, and I've got tons of floorlesses ranked ahead of that.
All right. And my second question, which drop do you like more, Cannibal or Shellraiser?
Probably Cannibal because it's taller, so you're actually like at a weird angle longer. Plus, you got those lap bars. You don't have to worry about the over the shoulder.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Soul. So now next up on our list is Fantasia or ZZZ Janice. Calling for you, Fantasia. ZZZ Janice. ZZZ Janice. Okay then. I actually will get to you later. Let's move on to the next participant. Zark. Calling on Zark. Take it away.
You're on, Zark. Let's go.
Are you there?
Actually, are you there? I suppose we'll get to you again. I suppose we'll get to you again later.
All right, I moved him back to audience. Let's just go.
So now let's go back to our participants with Ash, Windex, and Fire. Ash does it again. Calling on. We're calling on. Take it away.
All right. Hey, Chris. Just wanted to say I sound like a broken record at this point, but congrats on 50K.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
So I've got two questions. Do you have any tentative plans to visit countries out of North America? And if so, which of them are on your bucket list for coasters or just tourism?
So I was planning on going to Australia this past January. Had it not been for COVID, that would have definitely happened. And then I was also going to go to Europe. I guess it would have been this summer. I would have gone to Germany, Poland, Netherlands, and Sweden. That was definitely in the works, and now who knows when that'll happen. The UK would probably have to wait just because of time limitations. That'd probably be a separate trip. And in terms of other countries, Japan would probably be last on my list to go to, but still, I'd end up getting there at some point. My biggest bucket list park is Fuji Q for sure.
All right. Thanks. Also, second question. I know you hate the Canada's Wonderland Woodies, and I kind of do as well. I don't hate Wild Beast as much. I had a decent ride on that in 2019, but which is the worst of them? And I know you hate Boss, but is the worst of those two Woodies worse than Boss?
So I don't really hate Canada's Wonderland. I just had a really weird, frustrating day there. So that's one of those parks
I don't
where
mean I don't mean the park. I mean the wooden coasters.
The wooden coasters. Okay.
Yeah, Mindbuster and Wild Beast.
Yeah, gosh. I say Wild Beast was probably worse than Mindbuster. And I would take the Boss over either one of those.
Yeah, I actually, for some reason, I prefer the Wild Beast by a mile to Mindbuster.
I only ridden them once, so I think I need to get another ride on. I need to get back to Canada's Wonderland, which is another park which, with all the travel restrictions and international and everything, who knows when I'll be able to get back there.
Yeah. All right, thank you.
Thank you, Ash. So, actually, Zark, the guy whose mic is not working, wanted to ask what are the top 3 German parks that you are looking forward to the most, or that you're looking forward to?
Okay, so Hansa Park is the one with Karnen. That one is definitely one of the 3. Europa Park, just because it looks like such a unique experience, even though the rides are maybe a little more family oriented. And then the other one I want to say Heide Park, I'm a third. But there's so many other ones that I want to get to, like Holiday Park or Tripsdrill. If I had to pick 3, it'd probably be those 3, even though I'd be leaving off Expedition G-Force, which kind of sucks.
Okay. Oh, people are here saying Fantasia Land.
Oh, you know what? I always forget about Fantasia Land.
Yeah.
I always forget, and it's so frustrating. Okay, I would put Fantasia Land ahead of, I guess I'd put it ahead of Heide Park. That was my third.
Okay. Thank you. And just for those who are commenting with Lisa Berg, Portaventura, this is top 3 German parks that you're looking forward to. Okay, so now let's move on to our next speaker now with COF Coasters. Cough Coasters, take it away.
All right. So, what are some of your favorite theme park foods?
My theme park. Well, I think at this point, if I had to pick one, I'd go with the cinnamon bread at Silver Dollar City or
Oh, for
Dollywood.
sure. Oh, I love the cinnamon bread at Silver Dollar
I'll
City.
probably get some. I'm definitely gonna get some of that tomorrow at Silver
I
Dollar.
think I will too
Um,
tomorrow because I'm going there tomorrow too.
Really awesome.
Yeah.
Um,
Hopefully I'll see you there again.
yeah, I'll
We've
be there
ran
with my
into
wife
each
and
other.
Sophie.
But
Oh,
if I-
we ran at Frontier City, right?
Yep, and also at Keys to the Kingdom.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I remember.
And if you're if you go to Worlds of Fun this year, you'll see me working at Mamba. So
Awesome. Okay, I'll look out for you there. So I mean, other than cinnamon bread, it's kind of hard to say. There's not a whole lot out there anymore. Like I really love the Chaos Wings at Magic Mountain when they had that during Fright Fest, but they took those away, and that restaurant's now gone. So that's never going to happen again.
yeah, another thing I suggest trying at Silver Dollar City is the skillets. Definitely
Really? Okay.
check those out. Those are really
Okay.
good. I like the
So yeah,
sausage medley.
if everyone gets
That's my
hungry,
personal favorite.
I'll hit that up.
Yeah. All right.
Awesome.
Also,
Thank
one more
you.
question. So, what kind of park, ever to be another theme park in Kansas City on the Kansas side, what kind of park, like what kind of theme do you think it could have?
Themed on the Kansas City, Kansas side.
Yeah.
Clearly aquatic. No, I'm just kidding. It'd probably be. It would have to be some kind of Western theme. I don't know what else would
Yeah.
fit there.
I don't know. Well, there was a proposal for a Wizard of Oz theme park a few decades ago.
That'd be pretty awesome. I think I remember seeing that. Yeah.
Yeah. And there was also once a proposal for a Legoland in Johnson County, Kansas, on the Kansas side. So,
I mean, I can see that too. But yeah, Wizard of Oz would actually make a lot of sense.
yeah, it would.
Okay. Thank you, Scoff Coasters, COF Coasters. And next up we have John Woods 859.
Hello. Just wondering, Chris, would you rather have the entirety of the European parks, including Britain, all the way out to, let's say, Poland or so, or the eastern half of the United States? So we'll say the Mississippi River and east, all those parks. Which
Really
parks would you rather
interesting.
mention?
Yeah, I would. I think I would still go with anything east of the Mississippi. It's so stacked over there. If you were to say west of the Mississippi, I would I'd go with Europe. But yeah, I mean, everything good is in the Midwest and the East Coast of the U.S. Not
For
to say
sure.
no slight on Europe, but I would still pick the U.S. eastern side.
Yeah. Then a quick little second question: what's your choice coaster merchandise? Shirts, pins.
I usually go magnets because they're cheap, they look good, and they're useful on the fridge.
Fair enough.
I'll only get shirts if I really like the shirt.
Nice. Okay. That's all for me. So.
Okay, thank you, John Woods. And now our next speaker is Lateral Enthusiast. Take it away.
Hi, Chris. I have two questions. First one, when you talk about like rides you feel like would be gone in the future, what rides do you think aren't mentioned as much, but you think they're going to be gone soon? Because I hear no one talk about Scorpion at Busch Gardens, Tampa.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of older arrows or Schwarzkopf coasters that I guess you could consider to be gone soon. Usually you want to pick ones that are at bigger parks. Like I guess Scorpion at Busch Gardens Tampa would be a candidate, but I don't hear any clamoring about that. Obviously, like Ninja at Six Flags St. Louis, or looks like Goliath at New England's finally getting the axe. I don't know, maybe some of these boomerangs, like in Vertigo at Kings Island, doesn't get mentioned that much. Some of these boomerangs at bigger parks, maybe like Sidewinder at Hershey, possibly at some point. It's kind of hard to pull it out of the hat because obviously, by definition, if we're talking about ones that don't get mentioned that much, it's not really the ones that come to the top of your head.
And then this last one is about the Epic Universe coming to Orlando. This is just something that I've thought about a lot, like because they have these Marvel rides and anything. I would this is like a fantasy ride I would have there. What if there was one of those dueling Intamins with the inverted and sit-down track, and it was themed to like One Division or the Falcon and Winter Soldier? I feel like that would be perfect. That's
Universal works with Intamin, so I don't see why not. It kind of be like a Dueling Dragons type of situation. I'd
yeah.
see
It
that.
could be it could be like some sort of resurrection.
Seems like if anyone's going to build one of those crazy Intamins that have a sit down and inverted track, it would be a Universal park to me. I don't know why. It just seems like another park probably wouldn't spring for that.
Yeah. That's all I had, but congratulations on 50,000 subscribers, and I'm really excited to keep watching.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Thank you. And thank you, lateral enthusiasts. Now let's move on to some of our last few speakers now, actually. So let's kick it off with Luigi U2. Calling Luigi U2, take it away.
Right. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Right. What are your thoughts on RMC topper tracks?
RMC topper tracks in terms of like the future of topper tracks, or the ones that I've ridden so far.
Kind of like both.
So the ones that I've ridden so far, they seem to definitely have gotten rough. So like the first time I rode Lightning Rod, it was great because it had just opened. And I rode it 3 years later, and I was like, wow, it's a way shakier than it was before. And then the first time I rode Outlaw Run was when it was 5 years old, and it was definitely had that same shaky feeling. I can see where these wooden coasters, they're going to need a lot of maintenance, and it doesn't seem like the park's going to want to put up with that maintenance if they can just opt for the iBox instead of the topper track. So I'd be very surprised if another park got a topper track Woody at this point.
Yeah. Right. Thanks.
Thank you, Luigi U2. Now we got our next speaker, Mr. Fezri. Take it away.
Hi, Chris. So do you like floater or ejector more, and what's your favorite moment of each?
I would pick ejector more, but I think the more important between floater or ejector is sustained. So I mean, if it's no matter what it is, I want it to be sustained. And I would pick ejector if I had to pick one. So my favorite moment of ejector airtime, I would say Zip and Pippin's Death Hill because it's so insane. My favorite moment of floaters gotta be the 5-second hill that you'll find on Mako and Candemonium. I think that the Outer Bank on Steel Vengeance kind of combines the best of both worlds. It's kind of got like that sustained ejector moment, which is amazing.
All right, thank you. I hope you reach 100K soon, and I'm really looking forward to your independent parks video.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, Mr. Fezri. And now we have our next few. We have Happy Feet.
Hello. What is your thoughts about Indiana Beach acquiring Clementon Lake Park?
I think it's obviously a good thing because I think otherwise Clementon would be gone. So, and if Gene Staples is as aggressive with Clementon as he is with Indiana Beach, then we can actually see some actual things coming to it, which would be nice. Get another nice park to go to in Jersey. So I don't see it being a bad thing at all. I mean, if anything, it's neutral.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Happy Feet. Let's move on to our next speaker, Hagen MC. Calling on Hagen MC.
Hello, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
All right, my question is, if you had to pay $5 for every ride you got on Steel Vengeance, but it was your last ride you can get on it, how many times would you ride it?
Oh man, I don't know. I'd probably spring $100 and get 20 rides, and I'd be good then.
Yeah. Okay. Congrats on 50K.
Thank you, Hagen MC. And next up, actually, Daphne, you're up next. Get ready. We're calling for you. And
Hello. Congrats on the 50K, Chris. So what do you think about Kana and the new things Intamin is doing?
Conda, you said?
Yeah.
I think Conda looks absolutely spectacular. Like near the top of my bucket list now. I mean, it used to be G-Force, but I think this probably would be better than G-Force, depending on maybe if the restraints are different. Yeah.
Better than Steel Vengeance.
It could be better than Steel Vengeance. Yeah. I mean, if I rode that and it was as good as it looks, it could be my new number one. So if I can get to Europe next year, that'd be amazing, and I definitely put Belgium on my list to try that out.
Okay, thank you.
Yep, and thank you. Thank you. And next up on our list is Coaster Dragon. Let's invite him to speak. We got Coaster Dragon. Take it away.
Congratulations on 50,000 subscribers.
Thank you.
And what do you think about Hershey Park? This is like one of my home parks. What do you think about it?
I've been to Hershey Park twice. I think it's full of really good above average rides. Still, even with Candemonium, I still think they have like that one amazing standout coaster. And on my independent parks video, the coaster that I recommended that they do, like what they should do is to RMC Lightning Racer and make it a Twisted Colossus East Coast version. That would be spectacular. But even if they didn't do that, I mean, Hershey Park's still a great park to go to. They have like 14, 15 coasters, and they're all pretty good, barring a couple. So in terms of like independent parks, it's by far the best one.
Thank you.
Sure.
And thank you very much, Coaster Dragon. We'll move you back to the audience real quick. And we have our last few speakers right now. We have, let's bring out Theme Park Bjorn, the man who has won take it away.
Okay, first of all, I want to say congrats on 50K. And because I'm from Europe, from Germany to be exact, and my home park is Holiday Park, and I can ride G-Force all the time, what is your most anticipated roller coaster and theme park from Europe?
So theme park, the one I'm looking forward to the most, Europa Park looks amazing, but I don't, in terms of like my preferences of thrill rides, I don't know if I would like it as much. I think I would have to go with Energylandia, even though it's pretty much a flat land with a bunch of rides on it. It's kind of up my alley in terms of what I like. So I would say that, and then I would say Conda has to be my number one most anticipated coaster over there, even more than Zadra, because I've already ridden, I've ridden coasters like Zadra. I don't think I've ever ridden a coaster quite like Conda.
Okay, thanks for having me on.
Thank you, Theme Park Bjorn. Now, up next, we have the Zamperleman. There's Zamperleman. K-Slide Studios.
Alrighty, so congrats on 50K. I kind of work a lot in the research department for Wikipedia, so I'm going to ask you what do you consider to be your broad top resources for research?
Let's see. So I usually rely on a lot of old coaster sites. Like Ultimate Coaster has a lot of news stories from going back. I did sign up for newspapers.com, which has like tens of millions of newspapers from all around the world going back to the 1700s. I'm relying on that a lot too, especially lately. So yeah, I would say between those two, and then in terms of just finding things, going through forums like Coaster Force and TPR forums, going back 10 years, those are really valuable too to get like the real time discussions of when things were happening.
Yeah, I've done a lot of that as well. Like forums are really useful. I'm on the roller coasters task force,
especially over the
Wikipedia.
last 10 years.
Yeah.
Wikipedia is good to kind of as a starting point.
Yeah,
Kind of get the overview, and then from there you can kind of dig into each thing they're talking about.
Oh yeah,
which is what I usually do.
Yeah, I always list all the resources. Sometimes and go to like 20, 30. So yeah.
That makes sense.
Hey, good talk. You have a good one.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you. K-Slide Studios, there's Perlaman. So now actually that we've finished all the audience's questions, now I suppose the mods actually may want to ask some questions. Let's go with Tanae. Let's go with you.
Hey Chris, congrats on 50K. What's your opinion of Cliff's Amusement Park in New Mexico Rattler, since that's my home park?
Really? I pass through Albuquerque all the time, but it hasn't been open since we started going back and forth because it's right there off Interstate 40. I had been there once in 2017, and I thought it was a really fun little park that you can spend a good half a day at. I lapped New Mexico Rattler a few times, and I thought it was a solid wooden coaster. I mean, it ran a little bit rough, and for a park like that, you can't expect too much. But for what it was, I thought it was really good.
Nice.
I want to ride it again.
Do you have any trip plans for this year?
So I was gonna go to Velocicoaster's Media Day, but I don't know. They haven't invited me to it yet, and I don't know if they're gonna even have it. And apparently, the pass holder previews start next week, and I'm not a pass holder, so I still want to go to Florida because I still want to ride that. I still want to ride Iron Gwazi, so I might go to Florida later in the summer and ride all the new stuff down there. And I also want to get up to the northern U.S. because there's a lot of parks in the north that I haven't been to in a long time or have never been to, like Valley Fair, Michigan's Adventure. I really want to get there this year.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so that one we actually mentioned that he won't have a question. Next up on the list is Airtime Grills.
All right, so I have a few questions. First, do you know how to
Do
grill?
I know how to grill? A barbecue with like charcoal? No, not really. I usually do everything on the stovetop.
All right. All right, here's my next question. So, since you moved, will you have to move all of the parts from El Toro you moved to Magic Mountain back to Frontier City?
Are you really breaking up there? You say it again?
Oh. Oh, are you moving all the parts you stole from El Toro into Magic Mountain? Are you bringing those parts back to Frontier City?
Again, it was breaking. Are you guys hearing it, or is it just me?
Yeah, it's great. Here, Gabe, can you write it in the voice channel? The voice text.
We'll
on
get
the-
all right. We'll just get back to your question later. You can just write it down. I'll be the one to handle it. So let's move on to Goki first.
I loved American Thunder. I rode it twice. It wasn't like 3 years ago, so I need to get back on it. But I was really impressed with it, just especially since it was the last coaster I rode at the park, and the other coasters weren't all that great. So maybe it seemed better. Okay. I think for sure that's Enchanted Forest in Oregon. That place is just downright strange. The rides are strange, the atmosphere is strange, the theming's strange. It's built on this giant hill where you have to climb all the way to the top of it to get anything. That's just a weird park.
Okay, thank you, Goki. Now we got our last few people to ask questions. Let's go with Nonar. Pedro, take it away.
All right, so I'm going to Six Flags Over Georgia tomorrow, and what do you think is the worst ride there, and what do you think is the best ride there?
The best ride's tough because I have Twisted Cyclone and Goliath ranked really close together. Honestly, off the top of my head, I can't even remember which one I had ranked higher. I think I had Twisted Cyclone ranked higher. I'm not sure, but yeah, you can't go wrong with either one of them. And as for the worst one, gosh, they don't really have a really bad ride there. Great American Scream Machine is going to knock your teeth out, but it's still a pretty fun wooden coaster. Blue Hawk's pretty good. Superman, Batman are good. Mindbender, I don't even know if that's open yet, but that's also pretty good.
Right now.
Does Over Georgia have a bad coaster? I don't even know if they do. But I guess that's a good thing.
I
You don't have to
remember
worry about that.
when I went like 6 years ago, Ninja was terrible, but they obviously
Yeah.
had a different train, so it's
Right. I really enjoyed Blue Hawk when I rode. I did not ride it as Ninja.
All right, thank you.
You, Nonar. Let's go now. Let's go to Sayuki. Either park manager, take it away.
I have no questions.
Oh, okay. So I guess that leaves it with me. So here's actually here's a question from me. Actually, I'm gonna get like my home park's gonna get a mock spinner in the near future in the Philippines, Enchanted Kingdom. So it's a mock spinner. So what do you think could I possibly expect from a mock spinner since I know you've ridden Sierra Sidewinder, so I guess it could, yeah.
So yeah, mock spinners. We're not talking about extreme spinners. We're talking about just regular spinners like Paulton's Park.
Yeah, regular ones.
Yeah, so those could be deceiving because I found those to be a lot more intense than they look, especially when it gets low to the ground. Like, it's kind of weird that they're kind of marketed as family coasters when they pull some serious forces. I'd watch out for that.
Yeah. So actually, one last question. Um, where do you think if when you get the chance to ride DC Rivals, where do you think will that end up in your top in your list?
I think it would probably be top 30. I don't anticipate it being super high on my list. I don't know. It just based on how it looks, but I hope that I get a good seat on it because apparently they have assigned seating, and then you can ride the back backwards, which is that's a totally different experience. I don't even know how you would even rank that up. But I could see it easily being in my top 30, but probably not top 10.
Okay, so thank you so much, Airtime Thrills, and I suppose that actually wraps up this Q&A, does it? And for those who are for those who are tuned in until now, we actually really
Forgot to answer my question.
thank
You forgot to read my question.
Oh, what? Yeah,
Yeah, it's in VC text.
Oh, okay. Your question now for real. Are you planning? Okay, so this is Airtime Girls' question. Are you planning to bring El Toro to Frontier City after he stole it from Great Adventure? What?
Yeah.
What is this?
So I think that El Toro would take up the entire park, so you'd have to actually remove everything else from the park, and I'd be okay with that as long as we had El Toro. So yeah, I think we should do it.
Honestly, yeah. So I guess that actually officially wraps it up. We would just like to thank you all for joining, and especially those who are tuned in now. We really thank you all so much
I got the
for
whole
joining
thing
us.
on recording.
And
Yeah.
Thank you guys for coming on. I appreciate it, and thanks for all your support, and thanks for all your kind words.
Yeah, but I got the whole thing on a recording, so yeah.
So Lane, will you
So
put that in
as Airtime Phil says it, thank you all for watching, and we'll see you all next time.
Thank you guys for
Thanks,
coming.
guys. Good job, mods.
Thank you all.
Chris, I have one suggestion.
It didn't go horribly wrong.
Yeah, I kind of
Yeah.
expected a
One,
disaster.
one more suggestion,
It wasn't
Chris.
all so bad. It wasn't all so bad.
So I'm gonna stop the recording now. So
Everyone
I hope
This
y'all
is
enjoyed the
Tom the
recording
Kid
and see you on
signing
Thunder
out.
Thrills.